Hello everybody and welcome. Jeff Davis here. Welcome to part one of a four-part series on key tips for beginners on the guitar. Today's guitar lesson, we will be learning how to master strumming guitar techniques to unlock your rhythmic potential. So whether you're a beginner or even an intermediate guitar player, there's something for you in this lesson. In this in-depth lesson, I will provide valuable insights and daily practice routines to help you improve your guitar strumming skills. In this video, I will cover 3 tips plus a bonus tip that will take your playing to the next level. From basic rhythms to complex patterns, I've got you covered. I will break down the complexities of strumming, ensuring a thorough and enjoyable learning experience. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be equipped with the knowledge to effortlessly strum your guitar with precision, improving your overall musicality and fluency. So grab your guitar, find a comfy spot, and join me now as I help you unlock your rhythmic potential. Let's get going. Alright, so before we dive into this, we need to talk about the importance of solid strumming technique. Strumming is the backbone of any song as it sets the rhythm and creates the groove that makes your playing sound professional and polished. To master guitar strumming, it's critical to understand the importance of the strumming hand. Simply put, the strumming hand is the most important hand when you're playing as it sets the beat and the rhythm of the song. It's so important that most people won't even notice that you missed a chord as long as your rhythm and strumming is good. Tip number 1. The strumming arm is constantly moving when you're playing. It doesn't really matter what the song is, which player we're talking about. When they're strumming a pattern and they're playing, the arm is never stopping the whole time. So check my arm out as I play this. See that? My arm is always moving, and it's really important when you keep that constant motion as it helps us keep track of where we're at within the pattern and also the beat. Tip number 2, notice that down and up strums are not played the same way. It's really important to notice this, but as I strum down and as I strum up, I'm hitting more strings on the way down and less strings on the way up. I used to think a long time ago when I would read chord charts and chord books and lesson books, I used to think it was a solid, I hit every string on the way down, every string on the way up, and it really isn't that way at all. As a matter of fact, what I do is I twist my wrist down when I strum down and twist it up on the way up. Essentially, I look at up strums as being different, and up strum is basically the strings getting in the way as I'm preparing for a down strum. If we were to look at this as percentage of strings played down, I would say it's about 80% of the strings get played on the way down and about 20% on the way up. So watch my hands. Let me add a chord to it. See how I'm doing that? I'm hitting most of the strings on the way down and some of them on the way up. When you speed it up, you don't even hear that you're not playing all the strings on the way up. Notice how I'm arcing my hands this way and arcing it this way. I'm kind of keeping it really relaxed. As we start to speed up, it's important that it's very relaxed because that's what helps us improve accuracy over time. Tip number 3, use the correct guitar pick. More often than not, I have students that come into the lesson room frustrated because they feel like they're fighting the strings as they're playing. And when I look a little bit closer, I notice they're using a guitar pick that's over 1 millimeter thick. While that seems like a good idea at first, the problem with that is the strings will push back if you have a thicker guitar pick, so you have to fight the strings to strum straight through. So what I like to use is a flexible pick, just like this one, and by the way, it has a grip on it as well. And I like to use one that's about a 0.70 millimeter. So as I'm strumming, what happens is the string gives a little bit, it bends the pick a little bit, and allows for even more of a percussive type sound. So this makes a big difference. The pick is snapping against the strings a little bit more to give me more of a percussive sound, and it doesn't fight me as much when I'm strumming. A thicker pick, on the other hand, you hear that? So what happens is it's more of a brash sound because the pick isn't giving, it's not bending. So use a thinner guitar pick. All right, let's put this into practice. So take a look at your screen here. I have some exercises for us to work through some of these techniques with. The chord that we're going to be using today is an E minor chord. We're going to be playing that chord with the 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And the reason why we're going to use this chord is because it only has 2 fingers, and we're going to play all the strings. All right, so the first thing we need to practice would be down strums. And what I want you to focus on with this exercise is keeping a really loose wrist. Focus just on a down motion. Don't be concerned with hitting every single string. Just be concerned with the relaxed motion and bringing the wrist down, kind of in a flicking type motion. So, like this. Once again, notice how loose my wrist is, right? And I'm also keeping a constant motion, right? All right, now let's practice the same chord with a down-up strumming pattern, remembering that we're going to hit most of the strings on the way down and some strings on the way up. We're keeping our E minor chord going here. Take a look at the screen for the transcription. Notice how loose my wrist is. Not rigid, it's not rigid. Keep it really loose. So once again, an up strum to me is really just hitting the strings slightly, sort of. They just get in the way as I'm preparing for a down strum. And by the way, a down strum happens to be where the beat is most of the time, so that's why we hit most of the strings on the way down. All right, let's try a little bit more of a complex pattern. We're going to be adding one down strum with 3 down, up, down, up. And at this point, let me add, it is really important, and I highly recommend that you count this rhythm along with me. One of the biggest deficiencies of all guitar players out there is counting. So let's get this under control early on so you don't struggle with it later on when you play with an angry drummer who's upset that you can't keep the beat. All right, so how are we going to count this? 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And you could tap your foot here too, this really helps. So let me say it again, we'll play it again with down and ups. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Awesome job, isn't this fun?
You guys are awesome!
You're doing awesome, I know you are. By the way, you know what else would be awesome? If you hit that like button, you leave a comment, and you subscribe. I put together these lessons every week because I look forward to meeting with you and helping you grow on the instrument. And you leaving a comment and liking and subscribing is your way of expressing thanks to me for putting these videos together. All right, you ready for the bonus practice tip number 4? You're doing great. So let's jump ahead and make this a little bit more intricate and talk about what the complex strummers out there are actually doing. So when you see a complex strum, what you're really seeing is a constant motion of the arm. That's rule number 1, right? That's tip number 1, keep the arm always moving, with a series of skipped strums. And I like to call this skip strumming. So let me play this for you fast. Down, down, up, down. Now if I count this, which I really want you to count, so important, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Let's try that. Take a look at the screen. We're still going to be on the E minor chord here. We're going to start this. Ready, go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And notice how loose my wrist is. Let me say it with down ups. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. All right, that wraps up the video for today. It was a pleasure meeting with you. It's an absolute joy for me to bring this information to you and help you become a better guitar player. Keep practicing these things every day and you're bound to get better. Leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. And until next time, take care.